It is safe to say that Grand Theft Auto 5 is one of the most successful video games of all time, and that is due to several factors that include its very comprehensive story mode that can extend well above 100 hours if you take a completionist approach, its immersive and intense game world that it so faithfully depicts a parody of the American West Coast that almost feels real, and especially its dynamic, ever-evolving multiplayer mode GTA Online, which keeps the experience alive well beyond the span of the single-player story mode, and that managed to find its audience over now 2 generations of mostly young adults, all too eager to vent out their new lives full of responsibilities into a virtual world in which their actions won't have any consequences. I was myself once such a young adult, and I did complete the single-player campaign mode twice in 2015 and in 2018, which with much less powerful computers that I have now. And I also have a somewhat limited experience with the online mode, and since I recently bought a brand new gaming PC with an RTX 370 Ti, 32GB of RAM DDR5, I decided to give Rockstar's iconic open world one more shot before officially starting my wait for the next entry in the franchise, Grand Theft Auto 6, that we know is already well in development, and that will take us back to sunny Vice City. Alright, so I'm going to start here with how much I am enjoying to finally be able to play the game here at 60 frames per second with all the settings maxed out. And I think that one of my biggest frustrations all these years ago was that I was playing the game at lower frame rates, or I was seeing on my what I was seeing on my PC back then was not as beautiful as what I was seeing on YouTube from content creators back then, and it just always left me wondering how it would be if I could run the game at its fullest potential, and it's finally happening here. After 9 years, I am getting to experience Grand Theft Auto 5 at its best, the way it was conceived by the developers at Rockstar, and it is a genuine pleasure. And for that in itself, I think that the game is worth playing the game, or at least trying so if you haven't done so. Now, of course, since this is a 9-year-old game we're talking about here, not everything is going to be perfect according to our standards that we're having now in 2022. And especially, I've noticed that there are some textures out there that probably I didn't pay much attention to back in the days, and that are starting to look rather visually displeasing, especially some ground textures like grass, which I wish could have been updated over time. I mean, we're talking about a game that's also been an active live service through all of these years, so you'd think that they would have added a few visual comfort improvements, but apparently this is not something that they have thought was needed, and I find that unfortunate. What they did add, though, are the new cars from the online mode, which is awesome because, of course, these cars are mock-ups of real cars that really exist in real life, and adding some new models based on real cars that that were launched after the launch of the game does contribute to making our player experience feeling more relevant when it comes to making us feel that this is a story that could be happening now. For example, I've spotted the mock-up model of the Chevrolet Corvette C8 or the latest Jaguar E-Type convertible, and those were nice little details that I really appreciate in game, especially since I am an actual car enthusiast who does enjoy car spotting, so being able to spot cars in game, including the most recent ones, is a very nice touch. However, it seems like adding cars to the single player mode is the only thing that they've added, because you are going to be disappointed if you're looking for additional content after the completion of the main story mode, or just maybe looking for side jobs if you enjoy doing a little bit of roleplay in your game, because none of these new activities have been regularly added to the online mode, have been added to the story mode. And so if you're eager to be a bus driver or a police officer operating on the streets of San Andreas, then you are going to have to rely on modes as well. And I think that it is unfortunate. As far as I am concerned, I would have had no problem paying a few bucks for some officially made extra single player mode content, and I am sure that Rockstars would have made a lot of money by doing so, but well, they've decided otherwise, and so they obviously made a ton of money with all of their online content. I just wish that they had also made content for both modes. Now, the last thing that I want to say about my Grand Theft Auto 5 experience after 9 years after release is just how much of a breath of fresh air this game is compared to what our pandemic, politically correct, plagued world has become. What a treat it is to be listening to jokes or slang that developers would not have added today due to the fear of being targeted by Twitter keyboard warriors. I mean, just look at the GTA remastered trilogy and how Rockstar censored themselves. Going through the single player mode is therefore a great reminder that shows us what was possible back then and the liberties that we've lost because we're too scared to say enough to the loud minority. Anyway, these are my impressions about Grand Theft Auto 5 9 years after release. While it is starting to pale a little bit visually, it still delivers thanks to its epic single-player content and especially its story that, in my opinion, has become a true classic after all these years. But let me know in the comment section down below, guys. Have you played Grand Theft Auto 5 recently? What are your thoughts about this game nearly a decade after its release? Feel free to share your thoughts. That is all for this video, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe if you enjoy this kind of content or you want to see daily, regular gaming content. It's been the Eradicator. Have a wonderful day. I will see you guys later.